Hi, this is Jess, the fitness geek in Singapore. So today what I'm going to talk to you about is the 3 main factors of muscle growth. So first thing first, I'm going to talk about volume. And what do I mean by volume? Okay, volume means if I'm going to do a bicep curl for 10 reps for 3 sets on 10 kilos, that will be equals to 300. Alright, that is volume. So the total amount of work done. Okay. So the misconception that I see in the gym is that people are always trying to carry heaviest weights so that they actually can grow a lot more muscles. I mean, to a point it will actually increase volume, but at the same time you can carry even lighter weights for you to actually grow your muscles. And it's done by one study by Brad Schoenfield where they talk about the different intensities and the loading strategies, meaning that there's one that is lightweight and one that is heavyweights. And if let's say the volume is really equated, the amount of muscle growth or muscle hypertrophy is totally the same. Alright, second thing, more always means better. That it does not mean that. Alright, so there's one study done by Ahmed Tellingham and it indicates that there's one group who does very high volume, so like about 10 sets, and the other one does about 5 sets. And what happened is that in one group that does the more volume, they actually has lesser muscle hypertrophy, meaning lesser muscle growth as compared to the one that is doing lesser volume. Alright, so you gotta know that, and I'm gonna show you the graph of what I mean. So here we go. At the bottom part, at the starting part, that is when your volume is way too little. When your volume is way too little, most likely you will not be able to see the gains that you want to see. So at the top, in the middle point, that is where the sweet spot. You want to get your volume right in the middle, where it's not too much, not too little. Alright? And the middle part is where you'll actually be benefiting from the most gains. Alright? Meaning that you gotta go about recommended 10 plus sets to 20 sets, and if you get around that sweet spot where your loading strategies, your weight is about, for example, the recommended amount of rep will be about 5 to 20 plus, then most likely you'll be able to hit that amount of volume. Alright, the next one that I'm going to talk about, okay, so the next one that I'm going to talk about is actually the volume progressive volume overload. So if you want to grow muscles also, at the same time you need to actually have progressive volume overload. So what do I mean by that? So if let's say I'm carrying a total amount of volume for 300, the next one that I'm going to carry most likely could be about 400 or 350. I don't jump straight away to 600 because my body will not be adapted to that amount of volume yet. So it might be that I will not be able to reap the benefits of super high volume. I gotta get my body to slowly adapt and get there first before I even jump straight into the very high volume state. So that is to prevent overtraining, tiring yourself out, and it could even be a waste of time. Alright? So the second point that I want to talk about is protein intake. So in order for you to grow muscles, you really need to get your proteins done. So the recommended amount of protein intake is 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So I'm going to show you 2 articles right now, and one of them is where I get the figure from, is for the dietary protein for athletes, and it's from requirement to optimum adaptation, meaning the best amount that you actually can get. So the 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight will be actually optimal for you if you want to see the most gains in the gym or when you're doing resistance training, or even if you're, let's say, an endurance athlete as well. I wouldn't say an endurance athlete, but if let's say you're slightly more of an athlete as well. Alright? And like if you're thinking in your mind that the more protein you take, the better it gets, it could even be a waste of money. So what happened is that there's one study that does 4.4 gram per kilogram of body weight in proteins for resistance trained individual, and they realized that the muscle hypertrophy is around the same. The amount of growth is totally around the same. So what happens is that your body is not able to absorb all of the proteins in your body, and it's going to be a very expensive pee. So you kind of will excrete out all the proteins out and probably just take about 2.2 grams if let's say your body allows. How much grams your body actually takes, it depends on individual because genetics is different, but just follow the recommendation and most likely you will actually receive your gains. Okay, the third point that I want to talk about is you need to be in a calorie surplus. I don't exactly think that you need to be in a calorie surplus, but it will be very beneficial for you to be in a calorie surplus if you want to gain muscles. So if you want to be in a calorie deficit and still gain muscles, so like a lot of people ask me, how do I lose fat and gain muscle at the same time? It will be very inefficient for you to do that because the amount of growth of muscle that you're gonna gain is very little, and I would recommend for you to actually have a surplus of about 500 to 1000 depending on how much body fat you are in the first place. And if let's say you are really high in your body fat count, then most likely a small surplus, if you still want to bulk up and gain muscles, then would actually be recommended. But if you're lean and you want to grow it fast, or especially if you're an untrained individual who is super skinny, then most likely a bigger surplus would actually help you to see a little bit more results. And when you see a faster progress, most likely psychologically you will be motivated to hit the gym, and it'll be really good for you then. Alright, so I'll end my talk here. If you got any questions, write down in the comments below. I want you to subscribe, and I will try to give a lot more reviews on research papers that's going to be beneficial to you. Peace out.